They can read each other, not having each other. I'm here for it.
Read your good girlfriend. Don't have your good girlfriend. What's up? Welcome to another episode of Key and Carrie, where we key
and we carry.
I'm Damon.
I'm Troy.
Cheers. Cheers. I'm so glad you're here.
And we are back at it again with another episode of I was like, what are we doing now? The Real Hot Boys of Heat.
Yes.
This is season 1, episode 7, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, episode 7.
Yes.
Called Drown Me.
Drown in it. Drown in it.
Don't drown me.
Don't drown me.
Don't drown me.
So
drown in it, baby.
A lot of people are drowning in it. You know what I mean? There's a lot of drowning, different context. What did you think of the episode?
With each episode, I'm getting a bigger appreciation for the show. Like when we first did our review of like the mid-season, it was kind of like, okay, like what's going on? But now I feel like we're getting personalities. This episode was so goddamn messy. Like these niggas spilled more tea than like Lipton and Brisk combined.
I thought this episode was a little longer than the other episode, probably by like 20 minutes. Some scenes would start like right at the conflict, and it's like I kind of want to know what led up to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was an interesting episode, baby. The boys in Houston are having like
don't have sex, because you will get pregnant and die. Don't have sex in the missionary position. Don't have sex standing up. Just don't do it. Promise? Okay, everybody take some rubbers.
Crazy.
Hide your kids, hide your wives, because they having everybody out here. Yes.
Stop fucking your platonic friends. Like people.
You know,
just stay buddies, just stay friends. Don't cross that boundary. If you do, just be ready for like that backlash, like all the consequences that come with that hookup.
A lot of their arguments are like, you know, when you hang around somebody for too long, like say you spent like the weekend with them, and like on that Saturday, it's like, okay, bitch, we've been in each other's space for longer than usual, so now we dickering at. That's kind of what these arguments are giving. Like, we just need to break apart for a little bit, and when we come back, everything will be good. But I'm like, now that I know that everybody is kind of in these sexual relationships, I feel like that might be the issue. That just adds another messy component, and if you're already not good at communicating, it kind of just puts 20 on 10. It makes things even more complicated than it needs to be. Well, the brunch is still going on. They're having their mimosas. I just want to say that I don't feel like if you're going to hash out your problems, I feel like maybe alcohol isn't the best thing to have in a, you know, in a space where you're trying to work things out. I just feel like it's better to have people. I mean, from a show standpoint, of course you want the alcohol. Right. But you know, from a friendship standpoint, I kind of would like you to be sober if we're having conversations, you know, about real shit. I feel like you can tell that they're all from different places because they all sound different. When they talk, it's like, when Sherrod talks, it's like,
my bitch living, I'm trying to, she should have told me to go with her.
Country boy, I love you.
Oh, and then when Ken talks, it's like, oh, and then when Braylon talks, it's like, oh. No shade, but Braylon kind of be giving me white woman. No shade. I'm not trying to try your blackness, but like it's just you know, so
he's from Cali.
He's from Cali, so his speech pattern is a little different, or his accent, his speech pattern is different. So it's just sometimes he'll start speaking.
It's gonna probably sound messed up, but I feel like we can't even have fun.
And he'll be off camera, and I'm like, who is that talking?
Before the mess happened, I like that they were able to kind of like sit down and kind of talk about their differences, and it didn't get like too chaotic or too rowdy. Like there were moments where like Ken kind of was like over talking.
So they don't make him attack long. They just make him someone.
I hate it here. It's a bad time.
It was cool to see them talk and, you know, sip mimosas and talk about what happened in that Atlanta trip. But before we get to the Atlanta trip,
we don't get to can I say something? Okay, so while they were talking, I'm looking at a certain somebody's fit, and I'm like,
understand where y'all coming from, bro.
Those are my
Who wears dress shoes and jeans? Like
just like somebody's father, a church father at that, because that's how my dad dresses. Braylon and Ashton, they were able to kind of talk through like their problems or find common ground or whatever. But the whole time they were, talking, I was just focused on August. Mr. August was serving clean fill. I was like, you can just look at somebody and be like, I know this motherfucker smell good. So I guess the part that kind of rubbed me the wrong way is when Ashton was like, the problems within a group should have been fixed before you came around. And I was like, what issues? I'm like, y'all are rehashing the same issues out every goddamn episode. Yeah, it was just a lot of bickering going on at the brunch.
Yeah, and then Sherrod said he went outside and cried. I'm like, is it that serious? Like, no shade. I'm genuinely asking, is it that serious that you had to go outside and cry because of a disagreement? I feel
I'm like, he didn't disrespect you.
Yeah.
See, that comes, like you said, that comes from having each other. They didn't have that threesome, he wouldn't be outside shedding tears, or he wouldn't have been outside shedding tears. I'm just saying.
You know what?
I'm just saying.
I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna shed no tears. Let's talk about one of the messiest allegations that came from it. Loomis. Is it Loomis?
Loomis.
Lord,
you said Loomis, bitch. I thought you was talking about Dr. Loomis from Halloween.
What was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
So yeah, I guess there were some allegations, some things thrown his way. Starting with what happened in New Orleans. I guess they went to New Orleans. And I guess he grabbed I like it, I want it. I like it like
oh my goodness.
He wanted a piece, so he grabbed Dre's dick.
Why are you grabbing my dick?
And obviously that was an issue. I'm never a fan, I'm joking right now, but I'm never a fan of people touching people without their consent. I just feel like that's always a no-no. I don't know what led up to that, because all we saw was him groping him, and then he was like, why are you touching me? Like, so I don't know what happened, but I'm always trying to make sure like the person that I'm, giving that energy towards wants that energy.
Right.
You just never know how someone's gonna react. And of course you don't want to make somebody feel uncomfortable. So that was an interesting little tidbit that we got.
That shit just caught me off guard. Yeah. It just came from left field. I was like, damn, that's what you're doing, Mr. Loomis? Like, yeah. Okay, let's
see. Dr. Loomis wouldn't do this. Okay.
Very true. Very true. Very true.
But yeah, and then to go even further into it, we find out that when they went to Atlanta, Georgia, I guess Braylon, August, and Lemons, they had their little fun together, and then it was awkward, and I'm just like, see, this is what happens when you jump into threesomes. They can turn out awkward. But
especially with people that you are supposed to be building a friendship with. But I'm on my Rimanelli shit. Don't judge me, I won't judge you. But the fact that they all said that the encounter was uncomfortable or left them feeling uncomfortable, like somebody didn't want to be touched, somebody didn't know how to, somebody allegedly didn't know how to do the superhead trick. But they nickname is Superhead 2.0. So I'm like, what
got a grapefruit? That's what he should have did.
True. Also, don't add that edit in this damn video.
I just heard it works. Because I'm a nun, so I would know. But I don't know if I don't know if Lemons is this person, but I know that there are people called they call them touch me nots, where they don't like for their bodies to be interacted with in that context. They prefer to, give. They don't really like to receive. There are a multitude of reasons why they don't like to receive or like to be interacted with in that way, but they don't like it. They prefer to just give, I don't know if that's who he is or that's, you know, what he's giving, but I just know that that's a term and that's something that happens.
Okay.
So maybe he's a touch me
Yes.
not.
Come on, co-host.
But you know, because when they said it, it was almost like, what the fuck? Like, what? Like, that's so weird. And then somebody was like, did he not have a dick? And I was like, what? Like, it's probably a touch.
Yeah.
You know, I know they were just throwing a little shade, but you know, I was
Right.
like, no, it's probably he might be a touch me not, which you know is what it is. That's his sexuality. But yeah, I was like, I wasn't surprised because we can tell, given history of, you know, who's had, and then given, you know, people are batting eyes at each other. So I wasn't
true.
surprised.
I forgot when they first got to Atlanta, August was making his move on Limits.
Yeah.
And now he's regretting it. Because he just saw his confessional, he was like,
shit, it is what it is. Never happened again. You know.
He said, you get one chance and you failed. No.
Like, the part that got me was when, before they moved on to like another topic, August is like,
You gonna suck my dick.
No, that's not the limit.
So,
his comment is giving Ryan Henry's energy from Black Ink.
Definitely.
If my dick out, my dick is gonna stay out.
I was like, you know what, sir, this is a Chili's. I'm gonna need you to put that and that away.
After that scene, I don't think I could see Braylon as just like a best friend or friend of the show.
Well, people were saying that friendship looked a little more romantic in nature than one would think. There was a statement about, I guess, like, we're not friends if we can't suck each other's dicks, and I was like,
no. You hesitated. You thought about it.
I didn't hesitate because that should have been the question.
That's not true.
Yes, you can.
That's not true.
Hello.
Like, no, he doesn't.
Message.
Like,
yes, the fuck you can be friends and not do anything sexual with like.
I think. Well, I think everybody's different, but to me, like, boundaries are important, and I just feel like with certain friends, I'm not gonna cross that boundary just because,
right.
Yeah, especially my best friend. Like, no, I think of my best friend as more of a brother, if anything.
Yeah, sibling.
You know? It's very platonic,
and it's crazy also because I was trying to be shady and shade Mikey for his, I guess, his lackluster brunch, but I would have much rather been at Mikey's brunch than this goddamn brunch.
Okay, you're such a gentleman.
Get the fuck out.
Thank
Bye.
you so much.
Get the fuck out.
I would have loved to sit and watch Brandon and Carl read each other.
Yeah,
that would have been funny.
They can read each other, not having each other. I'm here for it.
Read your good girlfriend. Don't have your good girlfriend.
I haven't heard any of my gay friends
I've
use
never
this
heard
phrase.
this from any gay person. No.
Moving on to the beach scene. I called it. I will say I called it. They split off into groups. Shirai has an amazing body.
He does.
I can't even. I'm not even gonna lead into that.
Yeah.
Yes, his skin is amazing. His body is amazing. When they opened on the scene where they were at the beach, I was like, who's that? Like, I was like, and then they like, he got closer to Shirai, and I was like, oh shit, like,
yes,
Shirai, like that.
Body down.
Then they talk about, I guess, how like the group is divided and how they didn't know whether they should invite the other people in the group. And I was like, well, I mean, you know, if they ain't here, they ain't here. Maybe they at work. You know, that's like everybody's excuse. I gotta go to work, so
right.
Maybe they at work, but But yeah, what did you think of the beach scene and Sherrod's deployment?
I did put that in my notes that Sherrod, Ken, Braylon, and August have a different dynamic than the other group. Like this group, it seems to be, let's kind of focus on what we're doing. Like we're at the beach, let's have fun and kind of just talk about the shit that's been going on versus like whenever like the other group, Archie, Jordan, Ashton, and whenever they get together, I feel like they target like one person from the other group, whereas like Team Clean is just like, let's just live in a moment.
Dre in the studio. Dre in the studio. And you know what? It's no shade, but like usually when people get into the studio on shows like this, I'm like, We're about to hear, what is this, honey? Like, what we about to hear? Let me prepare myself. But I actually really think I think he's really talented. He can, he can sing, and I love his music choice. I like his style. It's kind of giving me kind of you know how that dark wave of R&B has become increasingly popular. Your Tory Lanez, your Party Next Door. So it's, I feel like he's kind of in that realm, and I like it. I like how I like his aesthetic, his musical aesthetic, I guess you could say.
I was gonna say, like, he does have a nice voice, but the song that he wrote, it was a key for me. Like, he's like, oh, I wrote it back when me and my boyfriend, we were like going through issues, and I felt like he didn't have my back. And I was like, that's probably because you fucking the ex-fling of your homeboy. Karma Banks.
Listen.
But yeah, when he was like, I wrote this song, that's the first thing that popped in my head. Was like, it's karma. Like, I guess Ken is over it, but you really are dealing with somebody that your friend, like your homeboy, used to deal with, and now here you are in the booth, like performing a song or like laying down a track for a song that you wrote about them. Just I like Drake, but it's like, that's messy.
To me, it wasn't so much that he decided to date his ex. I think it was just his dismissal of Ken's feelings about it that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, where it's like, okay, I get it, you're dating this boy, it is what it is, y'all are adults, y'all have, you're free to do what you want and make the choices that you want to make. But I think if this is your friend and you have his back, I feel like you should approach it with a little more care,
right?
Because I'm sure if you were in this situation, you wouldn't want somebody to handle you that way. So, it goes back to the very basics of treating people how they want to be treated. Sherrod talks about how he's going to be deployed. He's going overseas, which I kind of wanted to know a little bit more about that. As a soldier, as a Black gay soldier,
right?
How, how does, what's life like being over there? Because, I'm not saying that this has happened to him or could happen to him, but like, we do know that, sometimes, I've heard of things happening over there that aren't in like our favor, I guess you could say. So I would have liked to hear him, shed light on his experience in the military, good and bad.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, that would have been a different take. Just to hear about his experience and how he feels about deploying, and I guess I would have liked to hear the cast react about him leaving or him deploying, how they feel about it.
So we get to this scene, it's kind of like halfway in, I guess you could say, but I guess Ashton, Archie, and Lemons are I guess like out to eat, and I guess Ashton takes this time to confront Lemons about, I guess, him being sexually intimate with multiple people within the group, I guess.
That you cannot lay with everybody who's in the room with you.
And do I?
Yes.
No.
When we went to New Orleans, what did you do? You lay with everybody in the room. When we went last night with you, what did you do? You had. But that's my point. I was trying to tell you as a friend, even if you're drunk, get away from him. Go on that side of the room.
Why do you feel the need to fucking lay down and touch people like that you just met? Like, that's the problem. And then like you seem to be touching people like without their consent. Like, I don't know the whole situation with Dre, but it just seems like he just grabbed Dre without his consent, which could land you in some hot fucking water. So
Very
I guess
much so. Yeah.
I agree with Ashton. Like, reel it back in. Like, learn how to control your hormones. Like, you're an adult man. You're an adult. Like, but he was just being combative. He was like, "Oh, you don't see it from my side," and Ashton was like, "Bitch, you don't have a side. Like, you were wrong. Like, just fall back, just chill." But I will say this part was funny. Like, this shit like gagged me when I guess Lemons was like, "Oh, you don't defend me when people talk about me." Ashley was like,
"You're stupid as fuck if you think I have it, and you need to stop talking to me at this point before I go the fuck off."
I was like, "Baby, I felt that. I felt that. As a friend,
he cleared the fuck out of him.
Yes, cleared the fuck out of Lemons. Like, and as a friend, don't ever tell me I don't defend you. That I don't ever have your back.
And no shade, but at that point, let's just fight. let's just fight.
Right. Clear the fuck out of Lemons. Yes.
No, I'm playing, but yeah, like I was just like, I wish we had more context. I mean, obviously we know that Lemons is he's popular amongst people, but yeah, I mean, it's getting a little weird, especially when he said I was drunk, and I just feel like it's important to note that like you can't blame your actions on being drunk. Especially as an adult, you're responsible for all of your actions, no matter if you're drunk or high, or the only reason you wouldn't be responsible for your actions is if you were mentally, you had like some sort of mental break or something like that. But if you're drunk and you do something, you're liable for that,
right?
Whether you're drunk, you're liable for whatever you do, whether you're drunk, high, or whatever. So I just think it's important to note that I don't think you should ever blame your actions on being drunk.
Right.
You're an adult. Like that, you have to be accountable for your actions. So
I really don't agree with Ashton like a lot of the time, but in this instance, he was right. Like, I'm looking out for you so you don't get your ass in trouble. Like,
right. And maybe this is me being a little too analytical, but I feel like maybe there's a deep-seated issue there. I don't know. I don't know that man. I could barely get his name right. No shade. But like I don't know him, so I can't really say what it is. But maybe there's some sort of issue there where you feel like you have to interact with people on an intimate level. So it's like, but I don't feel like that's conducive to the group, because if you're creating sexual relationships with all these people, it's bound to create an issue. Like it's bound to start something, just because sexual feelings are always, it always complicates things. So, if you're doing that with multiple people within the group, like it's bound to cause an issue,
Right.
But yeah, and especially if you're doing it without people's consent, and if you're drunk, you may not be as aware of consent and like people's comfort levels. So I just think that I completely agree with Ashton. I feel like you should be looking out for things like that, because you just never know, So and yeah, I mean, he got defensive. I don't necessarily feel like Ashton's approach to it was the best. I feel like
he was aggressive. I guess it's him being friends with Lemons. Just I guess the amount of time that they have, he's probably dealt with like this before. So it's probably like, bitch, I'm tired of this shit. Like,
he knows how to handle him.
Yeah, like, bitch, you gonna hear me. You gonna hear what the fuck I gotta say. Like, so I feel like that's probably where that was coming from. Because I can understand that. Like, you wilding right now, and this is some shit like it's probably that you've probably been doing for like a amount of time. I'm just tired of dealing with like the backlash of you being an idiot. So I feel that's just my take. I feel like that's probably where Ashley was coming from. Like, I thought at first, like, damn, well, like bring it down a few notches and like talk to the man. But then I thought like they've been friends for a while, so this is probably something that's been going on. So you gonna hear what the fuck I gotta say. Like,
yeah, this has been our episode. Our episode. Ooh, I'm wine drunk. This has been our review for episode 7 of the Real Hot Boys of Houston season 1. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know what you feel about this episode. There's a lot that happened in this episode, so give us your feelings. We'll definitely respond. Let's have a conversation. The key in the comments. It's been real. We will see y'all in the next one.
Yes.